Hola amigos, this is Level 12, and today we are going to be talking about to see, does Estonia suffer from middle child syndrome? And if you don't know, middle child syndrome is a phenomenon that occurs in families with 3 kids that the middle child generally feels not unloved, but he's kind of doing his own little thing there. And we're going to see if Estonia suffers from that syndrome. So what is middle child syndrome? Middle child syndrome, as stated before, occurs when a family has 3 kids. The oldest child is generally, and I think this only works if all 3 kids are of the same gender. The oldest child is generally taking all the responsibility while the baby is being pampered and spoiled, and the middle child's kind of off there to fend for himself. He isn't the last person to do something, but he also has to kind of, if the older sibling made a big imprint, he kind of has to fill that. And he's pressuring himself, kind of, but we'll get into that later. So, meeting the Baltics in their birth order. Now, the Baltics, even though they are, like, Baltics, they're not brothers. But they do have different ages, and we could kind of assume this is how their hierarchy would go. The oldest Baltic is Lithuania, and he shows some of the traits of an older sibling, such as shouldering most of the hardships, taking most of the beatings by Russia. He acts like the tough one. He is the trial child for Russia because he was the first Baltic that Russia took. He's more or less the favorite, meaning Russia likes to beat him up. He has a leader complex, which is very easily seen. The other nations kind of note on him that he is a good leader in times of war, but like you do against Russia, he's tiny. And the other kind of Baltics don't really like that he tries to be the big brother figure. The middle Baltic, as stated before, is Estonia. He's an introvert, kind of looked over by the parent Russia unless he really gets on Russia's nerves. He's in his own world half the time, meaning he's either shopping or writing on his blog or trying to become a Nordic, which... poor Estonia, that ain't gonna happen. The Baltics won't let you. He's diplomatic in the form that he can get along with a lot of other nations, which... the small nation seems to do pretty well. It's when you get big and powerful and angry, kind of like Russia, that you start ticking people off. He's pretty smart. I do believe he's one of the smartest. He is the smartest Baltic. The youngest Baltic, Latvia, he's a crybaby. He gets a lot of attention from Russia, which he kind of doesn't like because that means he gets beaten up a lot. He's oblivious, he's strong to a point, and he has to be looked after by the other Baltics or he's going to get himself killed by Russia. Next, we are going to finally get into middle child syndrome stuff. Okay, so some traits of middle child syndrome is jealous, introvert, shy, less pressure, like to succeed or do chores or whatever. And they're generally good negotiators, they're independent, and it's found that they become well-adjusted adults. On the screen, the highlighted stuff is what are the traits that I could find in Estonia. I didn't see him to be jealous because what's there to be jealous of? It's either don't get beaten up by Russia or get beaten up by Russia. He is an introvert because he's, as stated earlier, he's in his own little world. I don't think he's shy because he does get along with the other nations. He just chooses not to be with them or hang out. Also, he always tries to be a Nordic, so he isn't shy. He's just unsuccessful in friends. And I do feel there's less pressure on him, because Lithuania, he has to act like the big brother, and Latvia, he just has to act to try and not get himself killed. Negotiator, yeah, because he's friends with all the other nations, and it's said he's gotten out of a lot of sticky situations by his wit and his smarts, so he gotta be a good negotiator there. Independent, obviously, because he does gain his independence from Russia, and it is claimed, this is on the wiki, and I like this fact, Lithuania threw away all the stuff from Russia after they became independent. Latvia was too scared to throw away their stuff, and Estonia sold it for the cheapest price he could get. That's independence. And we can't really tell if he's a well-adjusted adult because the show doesn't move much past World War II or the Soviet Union time, except in the manga, which the anime hasn't got there yet. So, final question. Does Estonia suffer from middle child syndrome? Answer? Kind of. He isn't as unhappy as middle children are stereotyped to be, yet he clearly isn't shown the same attention as Lithuania and Latvia. But I don't feel that's a bad thing because by attention I mean get beaten up with a pipe. And as stated, middle children generally grow up to be peaceful people, and overall I think Estonia is pretty peaceful. He only gets ticked off at Russia and the other Baltics when they do stupid stuff. And I think when the anime finally gets past the point of the Soviet Union and we can see them doing their own little thing, I'm pretty sure he's just gonna be in his room doing his blog thing. And yeah. So, final answer. Does Estonia suffer from middle child syndrome? Not really. I mean, I feel like middle child syndrome, once you get to that stage in adulthood, like where he is, it kind of doesn't really matter anymore. But I feel if they were kids and they were with Russia, then maybe he might suffer from it. But anyway, that was, I don't know. I wanted to do this video really bad because I like Italia and I wanted to discuss this and I wanted to actually see for myself. And I was kind of shocked at the answer because I always tell my friends, of course he suffers from middle child syndrome. He's a middle Baltic. But after reviewing the evidence and the actual whatever the heck middle child syndrome is, not really for him. Anyways, enjoy. Nah.